Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another match in the Link to the Past 2019 Rando Tournament. My name is Blaine. I'm going to be bringing you WeightyWords versus BigDunka with my good friend Walther. Walther, what's up?
Yo, what's up? This is gonna be super exciting. We got two really good runners here. WeightyWords, probably more known for winning the latest tournament, the SG Live.
Coming off a high, a career high there, right?
Yeah, and Dunka is, I guess, some of his more known things is that he's doing the arguably the best tracker in the community, and also a known pyramid skipper.
I'm not going to argue about the best tracker. It's definitely the best tracker. But I think this is a great matchup. This is so even. Two guys who are super experienced at Randomizer, who both have, big wins on their resume, played in a bunch of tournaments. WeightyWords coming off, obviously, the big tournament win at SG Live, but BigDunka is no slouch. This is a really good round 2 matchup. They both went 2-0 in their opening series, so the winner of this best of 3 moves on to the brackets. A lot on the line.
Yeah, this is bound to be a good one. Yes, you mentioned as well, this is just game 1, so we're gonna get at the very least one more game out of this series.
Looks like we are getting Divergence right off the start. Dunka starting in Sanctuary, and Weighty starting at Link's house. I gotta admit, I'm a fan of the Sanctuary start. If I can put off this Uncle visit, especially with the long extra 3-second save and quit that we've got now, I'm going to avoid Uncle for a little bit if I can, but Weighty doesn't care. He did a map check there. It looked like we got all crystals in the light world.
Yeah, looks like it. I think Eastern was a red crystal, otherwise the rest of them was just normal crystals. Got a pretty good triple though. But BigDunka, the way he's running from Sanctuary, he gets that triple as well.
Yeah, he also got a bomb.
To get a bomb when from the kill.
It's like the best of both worlds there. You get your money from the triple and you get a nice bomb. BigDunka giving us a look at the Lumberjack. Weighty finishes off his Uncle route. He's going to pick up a little bit of magic. Hopefully get a bomb drop there. He does not. Which means Dunka will be going into Lost Woods and Weighty saving, quitting, and probably following in Dunka's footsteps now.
Yeah, that seems pretty fair and solid that he would do that. We got blue, okay, not bad.
Nice early blue.
Nice early victory.
Definitely picking that up at this point in the game. It's going to be interesting, I think. This, more so than other matchups, WeightyWords for sure is a very careful, conservative router. You're not going to see him making any big, risky plays, I don't think. He's going to take the smart angle most of the time. And I think BigDunka routes pretty similarly to that as well. So this is going to come down to really some thoughtful routing, maybe come down to some lucky routing, but both of these guys are pretty thoughtful in what they're doing. I don't think you're going to be seeing any attempts at huge plays from either guy. So we could even see them stay pretty in sync with each other if the items lay out in a particular way that just, pull them towards some early game locations and early Dark World locations. We might see them stick together for quite some time.
Yeah, that would honestly be quite interesting, because that just makes the execution play that much more important.
We got a glove here in Blind's Hut for BigDunka. Nothing else really of note. Early glove is nice in open mode, since they're going to have bombs left over after Kakariko, or at least Dunka is guaranteed to have a bomb left over after Kakariko. They can hit the back of escape, which is usually preferable, doing back of escape before you ever enter front of escape. So that's nice.
Yep, or just as early as possible so you don't forget it.
Yeah, that too. You don't want to hit that hour and 10 mark and say, oh man, I forgot to ever do back of escape. Plenty of bombs here in Kakariko too, so they're going to have plenty of bombs when they're done here. That's always nice as well. You don't have to worry.
Yeah.
Got bombs on South Shore. And speaking of South Shore, we get the flippers pretty early as well.
Nice pickup. could, when grabbing the... unfortunately, we can't do the hula hand as well as doing back of escape at the same time. It would have been pretty neat if you could do that. That's not how it works. But WeightyWords is pretty much in that area of having enough money for Sora if he does a hula hand play. So it's gonna be
he's got the double tree pull. That's helping him out in the money category. He's about 100 rupees ahead of Duncan. Most of those are from the Uncle route where he got an extra tree pull. If Weighty's at the right amount of rupees when he's done with Kakariko, if he does back of escape, you might just see him save and quit. Well, now there's 300 rupees right there in the tag. Maybe not. But it's not crazy doing back of escape, save and quit, and then doing hula hand if you really want to play it safe. Could have seen these runners do that. I don't think anybody will now with those extra 300. But maybe.
Yeah, so WeightyWords will have like basically exactly enough. And Dunka is still a bit away, so maybe he'll be the one going for it instead, or just ignoring it. We got another map check there, just guaranteeing that we saw the crystals correct earlier.
I think at this point, you're probably not thinking about the money. It feels really bad to hula hand right now if you're BigDunka after you do back of escape and then you just find 300 more rupees in, let's say, mini Moldorm Cave.
Sure.
I think the bad feeling of having that happen kind of dissuades you from going for the hula hand. Plus, you're playing a really good player. If you play that conservatively, that's time you're going to have a hard time making back against somebody like WeightyWords. So I doubt he'll do it. Let's see what we got in the back of escape here. Just bombs, a piece of heart, and a blue cane. So does not advance our Zora prospects at all. But we'll see what Dunka does after the save and quit. He's going to Link's house. So yeah, 400 rupees. I would be very shocked to see him not do South Shore here. And he's headed that way.
I mean, worst case, or let's see here first if he decides to go for Agina after the dam, or if he just heads straight over to South Shore and Minimal Cave and getting the meat of it all.
Well, I'm a huge proponent of not skipping Agina after dam.
But, yeah, I've been told so, or seen so.
It is. I don't know. It's a play that I do most times. I do see players going for it a little bit more often than they did. My only argument is you have people who always skip Agina and never skip Ice Rod Cave, and to me they're kind of very, very similar locations. So if you never ever want to skip Ice Rod Cave, oh, nice sword there, really early, perfect for mini Moldorm Cave coming up too. I feel like if you never ever skip Ice Rod Cave, why are you ever skipping Agina? So that's my kind of argument. But,
I think the mindset is more like you don't want to skip Agina and Ice Rod Cave. That's why people choose Ice Rod Cave, because it's on the way to Minimolo.
Totally fair. And there are plenty of chances to get Agina later in the game, so it's not like skipping it now means you're never checking it. Whereas with Ice Rod Cave, if you don't find the flute, when are you ever going to Ice Rod Cave?
Yeah,
if you don't check it now, so
a little bit out of the way for sure.
Dunka finding 20 rupees, a piece of heart, and a very nice bow. 20 more rupees and another piece of heart. So that gives some clear next piece of routing.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we know where Dunka's going to go. I think we know where Weighty's going to go as soon as he gets that bow. So not much chance for any more divergence here.
Yeah, there's no real reason not to go to Eastern after this. Sure, it's not in logic yet, but it's 6 items you're gonna get, and the majority of them is gonna be in logic. So
yeah, I mean, almost the whole dungeon is in logic. Yep.
Yeah.
Weighty getting some unlucky Moldorm RNG there, dodging his first bomb completely.
Dunka picking up that rock.
He might be thinking, I want to get this money and go do Zora.
If he enters, 3 times? Never mind. 1 time?
Very, very fast entry into that cave now. It was going to be a pretty big time commitment if you didn't get it $50 there, but now it's pretty minimal. So, like having to enter and exit there 3 times is a good chunk of time. Only having to do it once makes a lot of sense, so that you can, guarantee you can get all these flipper checks out of the way.
Yeah, and, especially being so close to having Sora money, it's at that point you can probably assume that your opponent has at least very close to Sora money as well. So you're like, okay, they're probably gonna do Sora, so I probably want to do it as well, just in case there is something there.
Yeah, they didn't. Neither of them went anywhere weird yet. If maybe somebody routes into Hashirala's closet very early and finds 300 rupees there, they can sit there and say, okay, well, I've got this money for Zora, but my opponent might not. The way they've routed it, I think they both know, all right, well, my opponent's got 500 rupees, I've got 500 rupees. Do I want to lose because I don't go and check Zora right now? No.
Yeah. A little bit early to start skipping too much. As you mentioned, they're both pretty conservatively routing this, and it's gonna be super interesting to see if we get any possibilities of like divergence later on.
If we see any skips or big gambles, it's going to be late. These guys will stay pretty conservative. As
like pyramid late.
Well, pyramid's a hard location to get to, man.
So we got a blue boomerang
from blue boomerang, which helps. They already had the red boomerang, or at least Dunka had the red boomerang.
Yeah, we've already got pick up that.
I mean, they might both have the red boomerang now. The tracker might be a little slow. I know it was having issues right at the start. But boomerangs are nice at this early because they help your menus so much. I love picking up boomerangs if they're not out of your way really early. Just helps your menus. You're going in and out of that top row. You're going in and out of bow a lot. So very handy to get your menus a little faster.
And the red boomerangs actually have some extra value lately now that you can use it from time to time to set up some Ancilla splash deletion. Not that we need to worry about that today, we have the flippers already.
Hey, we won't see it today, but it's finally found a purpose.
Ooh, nice fire rod.
Given the nice fire rod, so that you could have saved and quit after Ice Rod Cave and headed over to Eastern Palace, and depending what you find in Eastern Palace.
Yeah, this fire rod actually puts Eastern in logic, depending on where the big key is.
Yeah, at the very least, it's going to make it a little easier. This is actually kind of surprising from Dunka here. He's not going over to Eastern yet. He's going to check Uncle route, and I assume front of escape. I guess this is kind of the play saying, boy, I don't want to be behind if there was something really good here. Duncan knows it's very much in meta to have a lot of players start at the Uncle. He may know that WeightyWords always starts at Uncle if he did any advanced scouting. So he just doesn't want to be really far behind by not checking these items. It is going to mean that Weighty's going to get over to Eastern first here, though, unless he turns around right now and goes to the front of escape, which he's not doing. So he's going to go over to Eastern while Dunka is going to complete the front of escape. I think we got 3 items in the back, if I am not mistaken.
I'm pretty sure we did, yeah.
Only 2 items in these 4 chests left in escape.
Yep.
Dunka with a little archery practice there on those guards.
Okay, so we got some divergence. I mean, if Dunka gets rewarded from this, it's could be a big part of his pulling ahead. But there's a mirror. Okay,
mirror in Sahashal's closet. I mean, this is setting up. Depending on what else is in Eastern Palace, this is set up to be a seed where you could not go in the front of escape for quite some time. So
for sure.
This is actually, I think I've already said it twice so far. We're not going to see any big gambles. We're not going to be seeing any big divergence. This could be a pretty big piece of divergence if Dunka comes up here and gets something out of front of escape that maybe is not required for Dark World access. And, if Weighty never does it and doesn't find that, or if there's nothing here and Weighty never does it, we've already got a significant difference in time investment if that's the case. So I'm going to be very interested to see what Dunka pulls out of these 4 chests. Because even if he does, if there's an item in Dark Escape, he's really gonna have to go get it. Considering it's in logic with that fire item. Now it's doubly in logic with that lamp. So.
Okay, so the lamp is nice, but probably not the item Dunka was hoping for.
No, one item left. He's hoping that this is the last item, so he doesn't have to mess with Dark Escape at least. Whatever this item is, he does not want to see the map here. It also puts Death Mountain officially in logic for Dunka.
Yeah.
Not that that would keep Weighty from going up there. And there's this kind of so far the nightmare scenario is I've only found a lamp, and now I have to go Dark Escape for the last item. So he's death warping as Weighty picks up his map from the right side of Eastern.
At least the lamp is going to make it a bit faster to get to that chest.
Yeah, I mean, and you'll save time, even against a very experienced runner like Weighty, you will save time in dark rooms by having the lamp. So Weighty's going to be doing, presumably, both, or I guess all 3 dark rooms here in Eastern without the lamp. Dunka will be able to do it a little faster, and depending how long Weighty can go without the lamp, the more dark rooms he does, the faster Dunka will do those dark rooms. It's not a significant amount of time, but it's not like it doesn't save any time at all. Really good damage boost there from Dunka. That's the stuff I want to see. Damage boosted right through the rest of those snakes like a pro. He stopped to pray in front of that chest a little bit there. It's only 10
it kind of looked like it. Not gonna lie.
All right, but that's a weight off of his mind. He doesn't want to. Clearly did not want to leave anything in the front of escape. He's gonna head over to Eastern now. That'll just be something to keep in mind until Weighty decides he wants to go over to front of escape. And with that mirror, it could be on Weighty's mind. Hey, I haven't done front of escape. If let's say he gets Dark World access before he ever does it, he may go to Pyramid and mirror and do front of escape just like that. So it may still be something that evens out in the end.
Yeah, but seeing it as it only was the lamp, it is possible that you would never pick that lamp up. Yep. Not maybe in terms of the logic, but in terms of these runners not really needing it. But like that could play a role as well. Like if we end up doing Silverless Ganon, for example, not having a lamp could it's not guaranteed to like just hit the torch gate every time without it.
Yeah, if you could choose to have a lamp or not have a lamp, you're going to choose to have the lamp every time. But it is setting up to be possible for Weighty to never make the commitment to front of escape. Only 2 items. He gets a shovel there out of the big chest in Eastern. Early fetch quests, I feel like maybe a little bit of confirmation bias, but those early fetch quests really seem to pay off more often than the late fetch quest. Weighty doesn't have enough magic here to use the fire rod to open this, so he's going to have to do this in the dark. He does look like he gets the key. He's got to be careful of this Igor. It looks like he actually did a really good job to keep that Igor at bay. Opens the door, heads up the stairs. He's good.
Yeah, well done.
That can be a tricky room. Not so much because of the Igors that you're trying to hit in the dark with the arrows, but those the popos that just move in random directions. If some of those on the left side of the room decide to run over to the right side of the room and you're not expecting it, you can get bopped out of the way as you're trying to pick up the key and lose yourself in the room. Very easy to die, even with their blue mail already. He would not be the first runner to die in that dark room, and if he had died, he wouldn't have been the last runner either.
Probably not even the first runner dying in that room this turn.
Yeah, I would imagine not. We're going to see an Armos fight here from Weighty. He's got the first 5, no problem. Pretty good fight. Gets a bottle, so that's 2 fetch quests now. So to speak. Death Mountain not in logic yet for Weighty, but he could get up there and do Hera at least. Interesting to see what he's going to choose. He could route over to Kakariko. He could do the front of escape. He can get 2 items. He can get both the dig spot and Sick Kid routing over to Kakariko, or he could just decide to sequence break up to Hera and see what's on Death Mountain.
Looks like he's starting from Link's house though, so yeah, he's heading for escape.
Okay.
He might be thinking like
he might be thinking the same thing as Dunka. Yeah.
Or if he's thinking like Death Mountain is a thing now, like maybe he doesn't want to skip the flute. Because it's like 50-50 that it would be the flute or lamp that takes you up to Death Mountain the first time.
Yeah, I would bet if... Oh, but you know what? Weighty's going to do the dark chest first, which means he's not going to have to go to Zelda's cell, so it's going to save him some time over what Dunka did. Kind of a 50-50 decision which one you want to start with. If you open this chest and it's the map, you feel kind of silly, or the key. But he's going to win this gamble, assuming he doesn't have any issues getting to the chest, and I don't think he will, since he has the Fire Rod and full magic if things get a little tricky.
Yeah, and it makes a bit more sense to go this way. If you want to go this way first, it makes more sense to do it when you have the mirror, because you don't have to take a long death warp. You can use mirror rod.
Death warping against, especially with blue mail, death warping in the dark, unless you want to keep lighting the torch and trying to get hit. Not very fun. But that will save him a little time, because he's not going to have to go to Zelda's cell after he gets the second item in the second chest here. But very interesting. I think we saw both players make this same front of escape decision, probably for the same reasons. Weighty may have said to himself, hey, if Dunka doesn't start with Uncle, he gets that sword and probably does front of escape when he comes here and does Uncle. So I don't want to leave something down here. So I think you're seeing both players' tendency to play a little conservatively, keeping them very close so far.
Yeah, that makes sense. Pretty much some early metagaming in one sense against each other.
But Weighty's going to pick up that second item basically just as Dunka is finishing this fight too, so we're going to be very, very close in whatever they decide to do next. If Weighty had to go downstairs and pick up the last chest like Dunka did, it would almost be perfectly synced. He's going to get to the save and quit a little faster than... Oh, Weighty's still going downstairs though. Oh, okay, nope.
There we go. They got it.
That is a place... Escape is not like other dungeons. It does take a little bit more thought power, I think, to track items in there, especially because you're usually doing it in like 2 separate dips, and you kind of have to remember, wait, what did I get in the back exactly?
Yeah.
But he remembers, he saves a little bit of time. He's going to start at Link's house. He's going to do these 2 fetch quests on his way over to Sick Kid. He's going to do the dig spot, and Dunka looks like he is right behind them. They are basically only separated by the Zelda cell check at this point.
Yeah, but that's pretty crazy. Do you think both of them are going to head up to Death Mountain after this as well?
Assuming that's going to be where something is. I mean, it's in logic,
It's only the option they have left except for Regina. And
I think doing these 2 checks makes sense because, first off, you can do both of them. If it was just Dig Spot or if it was just Sick Kid, maybe it wouldn't be worth it. But they can get both of these checks out of the way kind of together on their way in that direction. And you don't want to leave something like the hook shot or the hammer here and have to make a second trip, especially the hammer. If you go up Death Mountain and you do those 4 checks, or I guess 5 checks, clear out Hera, and then you come down here and find like the hammer in one of these spots, it feels real bad. So this is, again, nice, safe, conservative decisions. And you know what? It's going to pay off because they're going to get the boots for their Death Mountain trip.
That is very nice to have.
So add another one to the list. Hookshot, hammer, or boots. If they're on Sick Kid or they're at Dig Spot, you want to get those before you go up Death Mountain too. So enough value, assumed value in those checks. And you know what? Very nice. You like to see early-ish boots. So that's pretty early, 22-minute boots. And you like to see both players get the boots at the same time in these races too.
Yeah. The boots are just... I mean, it just feels good to have them. And it's just... It can make even the worst seats just feel not too bad. Because at least you can just dash around when you're searching for items.
I mean, if you're a rando player, you are very well accustomed to playing seeds with no boots. So it's not exactly something that you've never done. At the same time, almost all of the strategies and room strats that you know are with the boots. So even though you're perfectly accustomed to not having them is really good too. And we're almost Weighty.
Yeah, we're pretty much syncing up again here.
I'm not sure where Weighty... I think Weighty forgot that he'd already done Bonk Rocks.
Yeah,
it looked like he did a quick hop by mistake, but then he walked off the screen too, so... He's got himself sorted out. We're both going to be rescuing the old man at the same time.
Even before that, Dunka just gained back a little bit of time because he shaked the lumberjack when he routed from Sanctuary the first time, when WeightyWords had to run over there now and check it.
Oh, no, Dunka. Well, the dead rock is not one of Dunka's channel emotes for no reason, folks. So, losing 8 seconds there to putting that dead rock smack in his path.
Mm-hmm.
He's all down to 2 hearts, too. He needs to be a little careful on this climb. Weighty's only got 2.5 also. This is not a given to survive this climb for either of them.
But we got some great sync going on, though.
Don't get 1 heart. He should be okay as long as he doesn't get really bad RNG from that last rock, and he doesn't. Oh, and the hook shot is just sitting on Spectacle Rock. Very nice.
Gives some pretty clear direction after Hera.
Yeah, this is... Runners are really not going to have a choice of what they want to do next. We're being pushed pretty effectively. Boy, we get a map check there. Green pendant at Thieves, and red and blue at Meyer and T-Rock. That is a very fascinating pendant layout.
Yeah, that means we could skip a fair bunch of items, potentially, that we might not need for go mode.
Yeah, certainly hoping that they don't need to go find the ice rod. Any medallions now potentially off the table. Kane, as well as the flute and Kane.
Yeah. That's a lot of items in total that you could potentially skip.
Imagine Dunka's gonna take a... Oh, he's not gonna take a Death Warp here. He's just gonna flute. We got WeityWords setting up a Herapod here with his hook shot.
Yes, this is gonna be like the perfect example of showing the difference between doing Herapod and not, because both runners are climbing at the exact same time.
Well, it's not gonna be a great example if Weightty can't set it up correctly, as he's failed it a couple of times here. And now he's down to
one of the
1 heart
of doing it as well, I suppose.
Yeah, it is. There are a lot of setups that work, but obviously the setup is pretty precise no matter how you do it. Weighty now does not have the health to continue to try, so he's going to have to bail out of it. That would have allowed him to basically warp upstairs by hooking into that pot and skipping these rooms that now he has to do. Hey, there's the Moon Pearl, almost vanilla. And it does save a nice chunk of time, even when you already have the big key. Obviously, the primary usage as a big time save would be to skip the big key in the basement, running the risk of leaving an item in the big chest, but that's obviously not the case today. Weighty has to be very careful of not dying here. He definitely doesn't want to, but he can pick up 2 hearts now, so he's good. Dunka onto his Moldorm fight. Kind of an NMG style Moldorm here.
It was good to just play safe.
Yeah. That's really hard to predict the movement of those mini Moldorms in that tiny little space. Oh, Dunka taking a fall, though. They're going to sink right back up here. This is NMG style. You got boots, you got fighter sword. You can choose to do some spins. A little safer to do spins. You can dash through Moldorm. You can just follow him around the room and slash. A lot of different styles here. Can vary your style depending on where Moldorm is after each hit.
We even have the right number of hearts, depending if you pick up Sankheart or not.
That's true. I guess they both picked up Sankheart. Almost synchronized kills, too. Good last hit there from Dunka. That was not an easy spot.
They keep one runner just pulls ahead for just a little bit, and then they just keep syncing up again.
No small key for Moldorm. Instead, he gives us half magic, so we do not have to do the basement today. And still no Dark World access.
Yeah, but we got the entire East Death Mountain open, so...
pretty good bet we're going to find something over there.
Run over there and Dunka jumping down there and getting
that is a dangerous jump. Dangerous jump. You want to be all the way to the right when you make that jump, because you can get yourself stuck there if you do not have glove yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to bet that we're going to find something in Paradox Cave or Spiral Cave that advances the plot a little bit here.
I'm hoping there's nothing here, and the answer is just Agina all along.
I will never let either of them down. Just like a nice glove upgrade in Agina.
There's a book. That's
No.
gonna bring us over to Agina, probably, unless we find...
That's no fun. That's like a free Agina check. Weighty did not mean to jump down there, I don't think. No, okay.
No, looked like he missed that
Oh,
one.
Dunka does it also.
I don't think.
Well, you can't get more synced up than these two so far. This is actually, I mean, there's actually a wide range of pixels where this bomb jump works, but because it's so wide, sometimes you kind of forget to even be careful or even forget what it looks like when it's good, and becomes one of the more easy bomb jumps to fail, I find.
Yeah, I can see that point. It's funny, both of these runners are obviously very good at the game, but they have been doing like a couple of like minor mistakes. And every time, like as a runner, you do like a minor or a big mistake, you're starting to feel more and more behind every time you do that.
It's hard to play perfectly.
Yeah, and especially when you're up against such a good opponent, it just makes it harder to like try and focus, like, where am I in this race? Am I ahead? Am I behind? And the more mistakes you do, the further behind you're automatically gonna feel, even if you maybe shouldn't.
Yep. Absolutely. It's really easy. Probably the easiest thing when you're racing in a 1v1 scenario is to just assume your opponent is playing perfectly, making all the correct decisions. I'm sure both of them are thinking like, I've done everything, and I'm probably a good 3 minutes behind my opponent because they didn't do the front of escape or something like that. When in reality, they're only separated by seconds. They know that progression has to be over in this area, either in Desert itself or at Agina.
And
that book location's kind of annoying because they didn't have a way to get back to Ether Tablet. Even though Ether Tablet can't be anything yet because they only have one sword, it's nice to check that when you're on Death Mountain. You don't want to have to make an isolated trip up there. So I'm sure they're both kind of annoyed at leaving that, even though they didn't really have a choice. You can't go check it all on its own when it's not even in logic, so that's not really an option.
Might be something weighing on their mind after they find the Master Sword.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't like to have to leave it, even though they really didn't have a choice. It's kind of just a dumb location to find the book when you don't have Hammer like that, and you've just been to Hera, and they'll both have to commiserate because they know that their opponent, it's not something where you're thinking, boy, my opponent has already checked this. It just becomes a game later if you're struggling to find progression, like, when did my opponent go back and check Ether Tablet? Is what they're going to be thinking in possibly 45 minutes from now. So nothing yet. Dunka's checked Agina. There was nothing there. Nothing yet for Weighty here in Desert as he makes his way back over to the big chest.
And big chest and Lamole's left. Interesting how we got access to beat every boss in the Light World before we got Dark World access. So it's gonna be pretty nice going into Dark World having triple crystals already.
Yeah, I mean, they've had to do pretty much everything in the Light World to get where they are now, and that's not the
What
item.
was that about the Ether Tablet again?
I bet, if you were Weighty or Dunka playing this, you're probably thinking to yourself, I know progression has to be here. Don't let it be the Master Sword. Please don't let it be the Master Sword, because now there's a decision to make. And it's not a very fun decision. I think they'll both probably opt if they... Was that the first item or the second item in Desert?
I think it was the first item.
So there still could be something on Landmo. I don't think you can make the trip all the way up to Ether Tablet by itself. I think you have to do, especially like with Hookshot and Bow, you have a lot of options post-Aga. I think it's good enough. But now it's going to be on their mind, not 45 minutes from now, right now. Like, did my opponent make the Ether Tablet
this
play?
is super interesting. My first game in the groups were actually a scenario like this, where you pretty much did everything and you had to choose Ether or Aga, and myths were on Ether Tablet.
Yeah. It's not a completely unreasonable play to make, but I think the value of doing Aga is strong enough where both these guys are going to go to Aga without climbing all the way back up to Ether. It's a little more palatable given the fact that you have boots. You can climb up Death Mountain again pretty quickly. But, again, time you spend doing other things that aren't very efficient, and that's kind of the definition of not efficient, is time that you feel like you're losing to your opponent. So they've done everything else in the light world. I don't think they'll feel the pull up there, but let's see what they decide to do.
Second item is just bomb, so yeah, we're up to those two choices now.
As a viewer, this is a really cool situation. As a runner, it's really painful because both options are they have their downsides, and
I mean, if progression happens to be up there on Ether Tablet, I definitely hope both of our runners goes there.
Yeah.
Does not have like a super early game just decided by one check early on.
Yeah, it's certainly it wouldn't be game over doing Aga unnecessarily while your opponent doesn't, but it is pretty painful. We're gonna get basically synced up again with whatever they decide here because Weighty's gonna be saving quitting from this cave. Dunk is gonna be able to flute right when he gets outside, and it just depends on where they both want to go right now. Dunka is saving quitting, which tells me... Oh, Weighty's going to make the Ether Tablet play. This is... I'm a little surprised. Let's see what Dunka does. He's going to make...
Dunka's doing it too.
Well, nice. Or he's going to... Okay, nope, he's going hook shot, which means he's climbing the mountain. All right, so...
Yeah.
We got our wish.
We don't have the flute yet.
Yeah, we're going to stay close. Whatever's on this Ether Tablet, they're both going to get it. Oh, yeah, flute. What am I talking about with flute? I'm thinking Death Mountain flute, but... You're right, no flute. He's going to save and quit and go to the mountain, whatever he's doing.
Well, this is gonna make them feel even further behind, or
yes.
Maybe make them feel pretty okay.
Well, if there's something here, they'll both feel pretty great that they didn't do Aga, but just 20 bucks.
Ooh, okay, that's unfortunate, but well, we know what to do. We got an Aga play coming up. Aghanim's Tower with well, pretty close to vanilla equipment as well.
Yeah, neither runner will have a problem. Fire Rod and Half Magic especially, you can do some nice, quicker strats than you normally would be doing. And so they'll be able to get through here pretty quickly. The decision post-Aga is an interesting one. They do have a lot of options. They can go up to Catfish, which would make a lot of sense given that they've done the rest of the flipper stuff. They could go straight across the river with their hook shot, past pod altogether, or they could go straight to pod and hope that they find something with their bow, even though they can't complete pod at this point. I am someone who prefers to do pod last after Aga, so I don't know if you have a preference, Walter.
I'm actually the other way around. I'm usually dipping pod right away.
It's not a bad play. Right with the bow. Yeah, with the bow, I mean, you can get a lot of items.
Yeah, it's not like the worst dungeon ever to double dip, and it's just like if you're doing the entire trip around the world before going to pod, that means you're spending a lot of time before going there. Like,
yeah. It is one of those, every runner has their preference in this spot. And this is a spot you find yourself in quite a lot when you play Rando because,
yeah,
20-25% of the time you're doing Aga for Dark World or something like that. So it's not a super rare event.
I just feel like we've seen so many races been decided where like the runners go the entire long trip around the Dark World only to end up back at pod again after doing it. Like, I mean, like, oh, okay, maybe I should have gone here first.
It's a little easier, I guess, to make the West Dark World call if both the dungeons over there are crystals, but Thieves Town being green pendant, not the worst dungeon to beat green pendant, but it's not required. So if you can find something in pod that convinces you later to not have to do Thieves Town, if you choose to do post Aga, I'm going to West Dark World via the hook shot. you are kind of pricing yourself into doing everything until you find like a glove upgrade or a hammer. So you might get to Thieves Town, and even though you don't want to complete it, let's say there's one item in the back. Well, the time it's going to take you to get back to Thieves Town after Aga is forever, so you're going to probably finish dungeons in those situations. It's really interesting though. Everybody kind of has their preference, and it's not a line that's really drawn on skill lines. You know, good players have way different. You know, some great players might decide, "Yeah, I'm going to pod every time." Some great players are like, "No, I'm never going to pod." So you know, it's not something that has really any pattern. Just everybody kind of has their own personal preference.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this game is randomized for a reason, right? There's not really always a direct right or wrong decision. It's all like circumstantial.
Yeah, I mean, this is a game of risk tolerance. So it's how much risk are you willing to tolerate in all your decisions, basically. So
nice triple blue ball start here against Aga.
Yeah, really missing the days when it was 0 blue balls guaranteed here.
Ooh, okay. There's our first
won't be seeing
blue ball. Oh, well, we're back to blue balls again.
I don't know if we have Elbasaur in the chat, but no, we don't. Okay, I was going to try and put the percentages in there, but no can do right now.
You mean you don't remember them in your head?
Sadly, I don't. But I do remember that the odds of getting 14 is exactly the same as getting 15. A little math trivia for everybody while we watch this incredibly exciting fight.
How many are we up to now? 7?
This is 7. I don't know if we're guaranteed one here. I don't know if we're guaranteed an end here, but it's been 7 for Weighty so far. Okay,
Yeah.
7 total.
I think we were guaranteed that, yeah. So that's always fun, right? At least you know your opponent.
Yes.
7 as
You
well.
know for sure Aga's required, and you know for sure your opponent also got 7, so it's not as bad as it could be. 10 bombs on the pyramid. Weighty looks like he's headed over to pod by that dash. Or no, he's gonna make me a liar. He's going north.
Yeah, probably seeing how conservative they both have been running. Oh, XP.
Oh, wow. Okay. This is actually surprising because this is not conservative. You've already done all the first checks.
He might feel a little bit behind after doing all of that everything in the light world and not getting really rewarded.
Yeah,
for it.
I wonder if Ether Tablet was kind of the last straw there. Oh, I climbed all the way to Ether Tablet and didn't need to. All right, we're not going to check Catfish right away because there's no other time that Catfish will be faster than right now. This is the fastest it'll get. So if you don't check it now, you're probably not checking it for quite some time. So this is a big opportunity here. Dunka checking this.
Having the Aga kill though, at least every time you say put it in Dark World, it's going to be put on the pyramid. So you're going to have a little bit more of an opportunity to check Catfish than you would if it was just a normal Dark World access.
For sure. But every time Weighty considers, oh, do I go to do Catfish this time after save and quit? He's going to say, well, I didn't do it the first time, so if anything's there, it's really bad.
Yeah, for sure.
Luckily for him, it was just a heart container, so he's not missing out on anything there. And so it'll stand for now, and you know that, depending on the item layout going forward, that might be something Weighty never checks.
Yeah. Did Dunka check what's on the pyramid?
Yes, he saw the first time that there was 10 bombs. He save and quit after Catfish to get back here. I don't know, actually, if it's faster to save and quit again, if you're going west here. But
I think it probably is.
If it's not, it's pretty close to just running back from Catfish. So
yeah,
not a huge difference.
It might be a bit closer now that you have the extra 3 seconds.
Yeah,
I suppose.
It's only 3 screens to get back from Catfish, but they're long screens. So, I mean, probably either way. We'll just do whichever one feels better to you, I guess. There, it's probably not a big difference.
They're both not skipped pod, by the way.
Yeah, neither player going to pod. I don't think, did Weighty look at the Cape Ledge, or did he run past?
I did not really catch that.
Yeah, I don't think he did, but I may have. Oh, you know, no, he definitely went up there. He did check. Okay. Oh, BigDunka having a little trouble getting back into the portal there. So post-Aga, not that there's that much decision here because this is a crystal for Skullwoods. Post-Aga, you really can't skip anything West Dark World because, you know, if you don't full clear, let's say you don't have Fire Rod and you say, I'm going to skip Skullwoods. It takes so long to get back. If that's where your missing piece of progression is, you feel terrible. Likewise with Thieves Town. If they don't find any progression in Thieves Town and they don't find any progression in Village of Outcasts, they are going to basically have to full clear Thieves Town. Even if they get 3 items up front and there's only 1 item in the back, they're going to feel like they have to, because if they're leaving Mitts or Hammer in the back of Thieves Town, getting back is just so slow. So it's very common at post-Aga to just do everything until you have found your Dark World access in West Dark World.
And this is why I think normally doing, being the player who kills Aga first in an Aga required seed for Dark World access, sort of like this one, it just gives you a really big advantage against your opponent, because it's gonna be so linear afterwards. So having that head start of doing that. At
the same time, there are still also possibilities, because this is rando. You could find Hammer Pod and say, great, I found Hammer and Pod. And that might make you not do the back of Thieves Town, and you miss out on, well, there's not too much else required in this seed, is there? Are they just Hammer away from Go Mode?
We need... Yes.
Wow, okay, that snuck up on us there.
Well.
Mitts and Hammer, yeah, well, okay. So they're going to have very, very good staying on top of things here by me. We're 2 items away from Go Mode. This is exciting, everybody. We're really close together, and they're going to be doing the same stuff for about the next 10, 12 minutes. So we can stay synced up for the rest of the game if they just get Go Mode in Village of Outcasts.
So preferably, you'd probably get the Hammer before the Mitts.
We could see an interesting situation too, where who feels if they get Hammer and Mitts but not Samaria, who wants to make that play that we don't need Samaria for GT, and who doesn't want to make that play? But we're a ways away from that play yet, so.
Yeah, I think if you end up in that position, you just take it. The odds of needing Samaria for GT is way worse than the odds of not needing it.
Yeah.
And who knows, Samaria could even be in GT as well.
Yeah, that's usually the thing that most people will arrive at. Well, there's a chance it's in GT anyway, so I'm not gonna go crazy. They may not skip every single chest once they hit Go Mode if they get in that spot. But...
supposedly, you can pick the convenient stuff. And see, way to go for some hovering here.
Way going for a very nice hover. Not the biggest hover time save there, but
a little bit of swag.
Yeah.
Dunka's gonna go in on his Mafia Fire.
He went in here with sword beams, which is a little annoying. Well, no, now he has no sword beams, but with half magic Fire Rod, this is... You don't even have to be too precise with this. Hey, there's some Mitts!
Ooh, okay, Mitts, nice. Then Hammer.
Everyone's favorite, and by favorite I mean not favorite Go Mode item, the Hammer. Unless it's in, Village of Outcasts, then it's fine. But if they have to go on a long search for the Hammer, there is nothing really as frustrating, potentially, as where that Hammer could be. Hammer is one of those items you really like to find pretty early, because there's a lot of stuff you don't like to do without the Hammer. And when you've got Hammer Go Mode, it's just, everything is dialed up to 11. Like, oh my god, it could be an Ice Palace, it could be in the back of Thieves Town, and...
yeah.
They've got their Dark World access now, so it's not like they feel like they must do the back of Thieves Town either. I'm sure they'll both do the front of it, unless, Hammer's right here, which it's not. Dunka be showing off the bomb jump in here.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them just do the first 4 in Thieves Town and then leave.
Yeah, they have access to so much stuff. I don't think... even if the front of Thieves Town is completely empty, I doubt either would go into the back. They could get 0 items here and be perfectly fine, I think, leaving. Those Mitts open up so much of the game. But given that the front 4 of Thieves is very, very much Nobody really skips that. I don't think either runner is going to be comfortable skipping Thieves entirely.
Yeah.
Not many
I
people
think that
have
would
the
be a
guts
little
to
bit.
do that.
I think you gotta look at Thieves Town, the front of Thieves Town at least, sort of like an overworld spot where it's like one of those larger caves having like free items pretty much. Sometimes like you're not gonna get any items for doing the front, but I mean that's the same thing as going into like sometimes you go into Minimold or you get trash as well.
Yeah, I mean on average it'll be 2 items in the front, and it's probably a fast enough 2 items. I guess in this case it's only 1 item they get out of there. But on average, you'll get 2 items out of the front. It's probably worth it based on that math. But I mean, a lot of things change, boy. When you're 1 item from something like Hammer, sometimes that math that you're holding on to for the whole seed kind of starts to look a little different. Well, I would normally do this, but I'm only 1 item away from go mode, so maybe I don't. Yeah, you got a lot of very tempting high-density areas. Dark Death Mountain's got a lot of items sitting on it. You know, you want to kind of get to Hype Cave as fast as possible because there's a lot of items just sitting at Hype Cave.
Mm-hmm.
Pod,
I guess we have the
remains unchecked by both
potential.
players, and you don't want Pod to really be the difference maker here because you're probably saying at this point both of them. What if my opponent just did Pod first, and that's where Hammer is?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of panic going on, I think, for both these runners right now, as fast as the seed's been so far.
Hammer Pod has never happened before, right?
Never, yeah. It's the hammer and an extra bow. That's never been in Pod ever. Not in V31.
Yeah. But hey, you mentioned Hype Cave. I guess we have the potential in this seed to get an like super duper Hype Cave, because if we get Hammer in there, that's gonna be like go mode Hype Cave.
Potential go mode cave. But then you've also got the question, I go all the way down to Hype Cave, don't find the Hammer. What if Hammer's just sitting in Swamp? Do they do Swamp?
Yeah.
How aggressive do they want to get? It's a really weird situation when you get Hammer.
Yeah, because if you don't go into Swamp there, that's definitely your last.
It's gonna be your last location. Yep. We got Weighty doing the purple chest, so he's pretty much sticking to his normal full clearish route. Let's see if Dunka does the same. You know, it's real, like I said, real tempting to just say, here's some things I normally would check, but since I'm 1 item from go mode, I want to get to Hype Cave as fast as possible, so I'm not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But
and
so
I mean,
far, nothing.
If they keep on doing the same run here, that will mean that WeightyWords will be, at least for the moment, is going to be keeping ahead of Dunka just a little bit all this time.
Yeah, right now it's the catfish decision, the only separate.
Yeah, there's always these small decisions that they keep making that put one of them ahead.
But you definitely see the value of why someone would skip catfish, because you know, it's a significant amount of time that we're ahead because of that. Not insurmountable, obviously, but from skipping 1 location, this is a nice lead he's built up here.
Yeah, and WeightyWords left the chest over there, because if you mirror close to the what's it called, the bottle dude over here, or the chest dude, if you already picked up the chest before, the game is going to think that you still have a follower and just give him the item.
Yeah, actually, you don't even need to be anywhere close to that guy. As long as you mirror and that sprite is on the screen when you have mirrored into the light world, you can turn it in. So you could be 10 feet away from that guy when you mirror and then walk up to him, and it'll still.
That's how much leeway you have.
Yeah, it's a huge amount. There's not any reason to cut it that close, but most people will just go up and next to him and mirror. But I think as long as the sprite is on the screen after you mirror, then you'll still be able to turn it in.
I see. Okay, yeah, I knew it was pretty like fair in terms of like how close you had to be, but I didn't know it was that much.
Yeah, I mean, everybody goes pretty close to him anyway. Weighty gonna make the swamp? Like, no, he's gonna run right past swamp. What a tease.
Yeah, at least not before Hype Cave, I don't think.
Well, the dashing south of swamp there is a little weird, so I thought he was just gonna do it first, but yeah, he's gonna get Hype Cave first. If Hammer's here, he's in 80% likely go mode. It'll be a pretty low percent go mode. You know, no silvers, and well, okay, now it's not low percent because he found a sword.
Temper, so yeah.
But no hammer.
Hammer. Hammer is the better temper than tempered is. Because he can do so much more.
He is going to go. It looks like he might be checking swamp here.
Yeah, looks like it. So if Dunka, this could probably be what puts Dunka ahead of WeightyWords again, or if there's something in here, obviously, that's going to be massive for Dunka, or for WeightyWords.
Yeah, well, if they don't both do this, it's going to be massive for somebody.
For sure.
If Hammer's in here and Dunka doesn't do it, well, that's going to pretty much be game for Weighty. And if nothing is in here and Dunka doesn't do it, then yeah, they'll be pretty nice and close again.
Yeah.
Even though this is a very time-consuming check for, and it is not very likely Hammer is going to be in this second chest here, it is one of those plays you're making to just prevent yourself from losing 25 minutes. Because that will be the next time you come back here, is 25 minutes.
I think we see this quite often after an Aga seed, but it's a little bit less, it's harder to do when you use one item from Go mode.
It definitely is harder. This is pretty standard, especially if you don't have Dark World access yet and you're down here. You know, like let's say they had the option to do the first chest there in Swamp or go to Pod to look for their Dark World access. You kind of feel like, okay, I've done this first, even though my Dark World access is probably in Pod. I got to go check the first chest in Swamp because what if it's there? In this situation, one item from Go mode, I don't know. What's the right play? Weighty chose to check it. We're going to see if Dunka chooses to check it in a minute. Meanwhile, it looks like Weighty is going to do some Dark Death Mountain checking, and Dunka's not going, so he is going to make up a lot of that time that the Catfish check cost him. And I'm going to bet he's probably going in the same place. He forgot that he needs to mirror, though. Nobody ever forgets that. After they've killed Aga.
It definitely doesn't hurt to take an extra saving point now with the latest house fix, right?
Not at all.
But I think Dark Death Mountain makes a lot of sense. It's pretty much you're just going for item density right now.
Yeah, at this point, it's pretty unlikely you'd have to come back to Dark Death Mountain. So if this is your one trip up here, you don't really have any great options. You know, it'd be nice to never have to climb here until you're going to GT. That's the dream, but 6 items that you can get up here in Logic. Not going to have to climb up here. Pretty much, I mean, unless it's a situation where you need Samaria, and Samaria is in a Spike Cave. It's really the only situation you can get yourself another extra climb here, but I don't think that's going to happen. So yeah, if you can guarantee the next time you climb Dark Death Mountain will be to GT, there's no reason to just get these checks out of the way.
I'm gonna check the medallion.
There's really nothing you'd have to go into T-Rock for today, Weighty, but
yeah,
just kind of muscle memory there, probably.
Yeah, that was a little bit odd. Yeah, because we know Hammer cannot be in there, and if we end up needing Kane, it cannot be in there as well.
So far, though, nothing here at all for Weighty. Dunka will get the bad news, too. We're basically just separated by Hookshot Cave now, so we've kind of been oscillating back and forth between a 2-minute advantage for both players at times. We're now down to just one Hookshot Cave check. Weighty looks to me like he's headed over to Pod.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it. I think this is a good play. To be honest,
pretty much your most dense, unless you wanted to go back to Thieves to check a bunch of not in Logic chests.
Yeah.
This is your most dense location that you're going to get, even if it might just. And there's there are items they can still get that kind of push them to other places.
So Dunka going Pod as well.
You don't really want to find the flute.
No.
That's about the flute, powder. Really not anything else, huh? There's not going to be too many decisions they've got to make. If Pod's completely empty, I guess there's some decisions.
Yeah.
But
like, do you go back to Feast Town or do you go into Ice Palace?
I think at that point they got to go Ice Palace, but we'll see. Odds are probably pretty decent that what they're looking for is just in here, whether it is the flute or it is Hammer.
Oh, locked right away, but luckily we have a bow. But yeah, we got an Ether medallion. That
Not
could be
too likely to
annoying if we
matter.
find the flute.
Unless you got to go to Meyer with it. This is just, it's funny, this is one of those seeds that you're basically just, even if you last location the hammer, it's going to be a fast seed.
Yeah, for sure.
So both these runners are going to get a very nice time on this seed, pretty much no matter what happens, barring any catastrophes of execution. There are just not that many locations that they're going to have to go to. The worst thing that could happen is a required cane after finding the hammer. But even then, there's a lot of places that they don't have to do minus cane. So this is shaping up to be a pretty reasonable one. And, you know, they both have 4 crystals already, too. So it's not even going to be that long. Let's say hammer's in here. There's only a couple places left to clean up after they're in go mode, too. So
yeah. And
this is very close, could go either way. And I don't see much opportunity for divergence. Again, we've been saying it all game. There's not going to be that much opportunity for these guys to diverge from each other for quite some time.
It's been a very linear seed, and I mean, the more linear a seed is, the more execution is going to end up playing a role as well. So that's the major part we're looking at right now. WeightyWords still has a bit of a lead, but it's not a big one. Let's see, both the
choosing
runners
to drop down here first, gambling that the upstairs chest is not going to have anything. Unfortunately, he's going to get the small key. They're just going to have to go all the way back around. Exactly what Weity did, picking up the big key. So it's a good thing that they went back.
That's the big key as well. So he would be maximum punished if he tried to stick that, which he's not going to do. But I could see the temptation and maybe wanting to skip it after you tried that basement and it was just a small key.
Yep. We'll see some hammer yumps here from these runners with the right key count for it. Weity kind of got a weird start there. I don't know if he was planning on doing a hammer yump, but got kind of lost in the menu and then picked up an extra pot. So I don't think he had any time to do it anyway.
Yeah, and it's not super important to do it. But...
No, not at all. Especially with mirror, it doesn't really matter. You're not going to be walking back out.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's our flute.
Flute.
Got a medallion and a flute and pod. Sounds like a good starter kit for Meyer.
Weity almost opened the door. He did not have to.
Yeah, if you open that, he could still just grab the key in there, but you don't wanna do that. Yeah, you have to.
Not at all. You're still missing the map and the compass in here too, so we may only be getting one item from the dark maze. There's the map.
There's the map.
At this point, looking pretty likely we're gonna have to follow that flute. There's the compass. Unless we get a vanilla hammer here, which would be pretty cool, I gotta admit.
Yeah, it would not be the first time, but it's not today.
Just some bombs. Weity remembering he needs to mirror before he saves and quits. Let's see if Dunka remembers that after the big chest.
Yeah, he already did a mistake once, so maybe that's on his mind. Or maybe he's already using the mirror here. I mean, guess you would do that either way. Like if you find the hammer, you would have mirrored as well.
Too.
But he's going out and mirroring too. It's
Sometimes
really hard
messing it up is the best lesson. You'll remember after you've done it wrong once.
Yeah, well, you do it like 5 times the same scene and being like, oh, why do I keep forgetting this?
Yeah, sometimes once you do it like that second time, okay, then all bets are off. You're probably just going to forget every time. All right, well, we've got flute activation. Dunka heading over to Kakarot to activate his flute. I'm sure they're going to be checking the shed first, hoping for hammer. They're probably going to check checkerboard after that. Then they're going to head into Meyer. I think both of them are going to follow that.
Small key in the first 4 of these then?
They got... I know they only got 1 item. Don't remember if they got the small key. I'm racking my brain and coming up with nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't gonna matter much because they have both like put it away for so
Yeah,
long now,
I
so
think
they're
they would
just
end up in
gonna
Thieves' Town at the same
skip it
time
anyways.
at this point
Mhm.
if it did come to that.
But it's just interesting because the only way the back of Thieves' Town, or all the chests at the back of Thieves' Town, is accessible, except for the big chest, of course, which you need a hammer for. Without the hammer, is if you get that small key. That small key can still be in the back, but there's only like one chest it could be. So it's just interesting if they got it or not.
Yep.
But I guess we'll maybe find that out later. There's a mushroom, another
Where you
fetch
find the
room.
mushroom. This is actually something you need to check before you head into Mire. So now I expect them to be checking this mushroom and then going to Mire, which they do have access to because it is conveniently the Ether Medallion.
This is almost starting to feel like a beatable only seed. The game's only giving you exactly what you need.
Does anybody want to make the Galaxy fake powder play here? Mirror to Magic Bat. Oh, we don't have the cane. We can't do that. That would be so cool if they could do that. Let's say cane and powder are both in Mire.
Ooh, Dunka is not floating. He's heading into Mire.
Oh, man, this is a risky play.
All of a sudden, Dunka takes the lead.
Yeah, that is not a big. I mean, in this race, it's a big play. That's a big difference because now he takes the lead, but that is a potential big waste of time if that's where Hammer is. But hey, we've got another lead change. Now Dunka takes a 8 or 9 second lead.
Dude, I love this. I wish every race could be like this. Just have a really close race.
From the first minute, I think we both were saying that, you know, these guys are kind of route the same, so we might see them stick together for quite some time, and it's exactly what's happened. No fast Mire 2 here. Let's see if Weighty can one cycle this room. Very nicely done. Didn't get super optimal Popo RNG, but makes up a couple seconds there on Dunka.
Yeah.
A couple seconds is going to be the story of the rest of this seed, it seems like.
A couple of seconds is definitely a big deal right now.
Yeah, I would say unless they choose to route Mire in a different direction of each other, which doesn't look like they're doing.
Oh, there's a cane. Okay, well that means Hammer is 100% go mode at least.
Yep. Nothing else they could need now except the Hammer. Boy, if you find the big key in this chest, what do you do?
Oof. Yeah, that's a tough decision that they don't gonna have to make.
I wanted the big key there to see what they would do, but all right, small key. I guess there still is potential for them to check the rest of these chests in a slightly different order. I know some people like to start with this lobby chest after they hit the switch. Some people like to go full left. Some people like to skip the vanilla big key chest. So any one of those divergences would result in a lead change.
Yeah, especially depending, like it's different depending if you look for the big key or you just look for a go mode item as well.
Yep.
Dunka is checking. This chest is a small key, which means the big key has to be vanilla, and he is gonna get the big key and probably be hoping that the items are in at least one of the items locked behind the ball.
This is the conservative play here. Weighty is choosing to skip the big key. He's going to open these other 2 chests and hope that's where Hammer is. So this is going to determine probably who leaves here with the lead.
Yeah, there's only one item left. So, like, he's saying, I hope that there's... Okay, he's just...
Oh, no, okay, yeah, he's going back. That's actually... I'm not sure I've ever seen Mire routed in that order. One item for mode.
I don't know. Probably want to check the lobby one first if you want to check it before doing the full left.
Yeah, it's not a huge difference either way, but he does lose a couple seconds on the extra screen transitions doing it like that. But it's kind of weird. You don't get the super fast check. You know, if you do the lobby check first and it's the Hammer, okay, you don't have to check either chest on the left side. To do one and then lobby and then back to left, it's kind of...
Yeah, and our runners are like, they're all doing this live, right? There's like, there's so many decisions to be made on the spot, and like sometimes just like, it's easy to just be like, oh wait, second guessing yourself. Why am I doing it this way?
Especially in a seat as weird as this. You know, it's not a situation neither of these runners has been in. Clearly, they've got plenty of experience. They've been in Hammer Go mode before, and they've been in I'm clearing mire, but I'm just looking for one item.
Oh,
And
there it is. Okay,
Dunka leaves.
Dunka in go mode. WeightyWords gonna be in go mode really soon as well.
Weighty
Interesting,
is
Dunka.
not routing the correct direct. Well, I guess
think
this is technically
correct,
faster to
be
get. Yeah,
honest.
that's true. I do think actually you're
Seeing-
right.
Yeah, seeing as they got the big key, they went to all the trouble to get it. Might as well check the big chest on the way to this chest, I think.
It's not. I mean, there were extra keys. They had enough keys to go in through there. This is going to mean about a 30-second lead here for Dunka. A little under 30 seconds on the mirror time. But nice little. I don't know if it was calculated. I don't know if he said, hey, I just want to gamble that it's not going to be in big chest. I'll check this one first. So it's nice and fast. I wonder what the timing is on that, honestly.
Yeah, okay.
That's an interesting one.
Same dungeons, yeah. Too bad. I wanted to see when WeightyWords dip into ice to see exactly what the lead difference is right now, but we're gonna be they're gonna be syncing up sooner or later, anyways.
It would have been great to watch them do the same dungeons, and see what the time difference was as we went. They were about 28 seconds apart on the mirror out of mire. We'll see what they are, I guess, when we flute to Death Mountain on the way up to GT now.
Gonna be able to go mode both Ice Palace and Swamp Palace is pretty nice. Well, technically not a go mode Swamp Palace for WeightyWords since this is a double dip. Right. But I think we can call it a sort of a go mode Swamp Palace anyways. You skip the majority of the dungeons.
If you come in Swamp Palace and you only open, 2 chests, that counts as go mode. Compared to what you usually have to do with that dungeon.
Yeah.
Dunka is at 5 hearts here, which is not necessarily a problem, but now he's at 4 hearts.
Yeah.
You need to be a little careful. Taking a death is the exact opposite of what you want, right?
Do they have any saves in their bottles?
Did they get a fairy in a bottle at some point?
I think they might have at least one.
They got an empty bottle, and I think they got a fairy in a bottle somewhere. So looks actually, like not really that big of a deal for Dunka. Still, the fairy revive animation is going to be they're 30 seconds apart. You don't want to have to be getting revived by fairies if you don't need to be getting.
Yeah, for sure. It's just like something bad or something worse, right?
Yep.
You'd rather take 30 seconds than redoing entire Ice Palace.
This is really cool and really hard to judge, like who's making time or if they're both staying even. The only thing they've done to really disappoint us so far has been to go to 2 different dungeons once they hit go mode.
Yeah, right. Being neck and neck and right next to each other in this entire seed, and now all of a sudden not going to the same place for sure.
Yeah, come on, guys. Somebody didn't get the script before this.
You're right.
Or they only skimmed. They got a couple pages into the script. Said, okay, I got it. Go mode. Let's go. But you guys are supposed to both go to the same dungeon. Come on. Oh, and they have a red potion, so that's much better than taking the fairy revive. So Dunka just kind of popped that as he got bopped by the ice there. Gets him in the corner. Missed one with the slash, but it's fine. He didn't get hit again.
Very nicely done. It would not
have can be a little tricky when you go in there with sword beam. It's a little bit extra lag, which can throw off your timing if you're used to that fight without sword beams, which almost every time you fight Coldster, you'll do it without sword beams, but pretty nicely done. We're gonna see Weighty, I think, go for the Zero Cycle Argus. I think he goes for this. We'll see.
Let's see.
He's going for it.
Looks like it. Doing a really good job so far.
Very nice ordering of the puffs there. Really good to get that last one on the right before he went to the left. That's the trickiest part of that fight to me. Really well done.
Yeah, that was sick.
That was not, there's a lot of different RNGs, Argus, and there's some movement of the puffs, which order you want to kill the puffs in, depending on how he's moved, that you have to read. I don't know if Weighty read it or just it worked out perfectly, but he did a really good job with not an optimal Argus movement there. So really nicely. That's going to save a nice chunk of time if Dunka does not get the Zero Cycle or does not go for the Zero Cycle. That's a significant, 6, 7, 8 seconds there on especially if the fight goes badly for Dunka. If he doesn't get the fast one cycle, you could be talking about maybe 10 seconds that Weighty may have just made up there, which was a significant chunk of his deficit on his way out of Mire. So this is the execution. We may see Dunka pull off some nice moves before the seed is over. But,
yeah.
So far, Weighty making up a little bit of that time that he was behind. Really cool to see that.
I mean, I guess the one big difference we have left in terms of potential divergence is Ganon's tower that we're gonna have to do after this as well.
I am really hoping. I'm not completely up to date on the routes that everybody does in GT, but it would be a real shame to see divergence in GT because of this. So I'm hoping they just take the same route in GT so we can see some more of this super sync.
I think that would be pretty cool, yeah. Well, you just put the big key in the first chest and it's easy, no divergence.
Or you can put the big key in tile room and they'll probably both get the tile room at the same time no matter what they choose.
Yeah, that's probably more likely, to be honest. Sometimes people do DM, so they don't go the other route right away.
What a good first game of this series, too. I mean, we kind of hyped it up at the start. These are two runners who certainly both could have just been in the top 32 very easily out of the qualifiers. One of these runners was in tier 2, just luck of the draw. If whichever runner loses this best of 3 would probably be favored in the next matchup anyway, so you could probably see both of these runners in the bracket stage. So this is a real top tier matchup for this early in the tournament. Really cool, and they're showing why, because they're both going to get very good times on the seed, and they're both going to be right neck and neck as we go through the rest of it.
Yeah, it's been a really good start of this matchup. This is just game 1 out of potential 3. We're gonna get at least one more game in the next game, where a lot of the runners are gonna get to change at least a little bit of how the mode is gonna look like. There's a couple of different changes you can do as the loser of a match. It'll be interesting to see what they pick.
Yeah, just slight flavor changes, really. We're going to get synchronized boss fights here, too, as Weighty's going to be dropping into Cold Stare while Dunka goes into Argus. So Dunka's Argus fight, so he's not going to go for the 0 cycle. He can get a fast 1 cycle here. That's only going to lose about 6 or 7 seconds off of what Weighty did. Weighty in his Cold Stare fight. Looks like Dunka's going to get an extra movement, but Weighty's Cold Stare fight is not going as smooth as Dunka's did.
Yeah.
So.
For sure, they got out of the cage, if you want to call it. Okay, there we go. Both
got synchronized boss explosions, but I would say the time lost there on Cold Stare probably is a little bit more than the time he gained on the Argus fighter. Might be kind of close.
I think that sounds fair. And then we're finally going to be syncing up as both runners are going to head to Palace of Darkness for their last crystal.
Yep. Regardless of how much time Weighty gained or lost there on the boss fights, he has closed that gap that was 28 seconds to something much more manageable now. He looks to only be maybe 5 or 6 seconds behind Dunka. So buckle up for a tight finish here.
Yeah, that was only 6 seconds apart going into the portal for Pod here.
Which means Weighty did make up a significant amount of time in the dungeons itself too, because the boss fights probably ended up being a wash. Although Weighty's Argus was better, his Cold Stare was a little bit sloppy. But Weighty, putting about 20 seconds faster within each dungeon over Dunka. We'll see if that continues to hold true here in Pod as they both enter still about 5-6 seconds apart. They both just go straight to Helma here.
Not going to be too much of things to do in here. It's a pretty quick one now that we already got the big key.
Yeah, here's where you're hoping that Turtle Room RNG and Helma play a big factor, because those 2 rooms can give faster RNGs. The boss obviously can have some movements that's a little faster.
We're even closer now as Dunka had to do an extra menu because he made to that boomerang.
Extra menu is 20% of the time difference right now. Can't afford extra menus. Ugh, this is everything that I was hoping for it to be.
Yeah. I would be okay with just like rerunning this race for game 2 instead of having another one.
As long as we can get on comms again, sure. This is 2 seconds going into the basement now. This is crazy. All right, so here comes Turtle Room. You just want these turtles to kind of behave, not walk all the way to the bottom of the screen.
Mm-hmm. See, yeah.
Dunka looks like he's got good RNG, but he flipped an extra one. Oh, Weighty got some bad RNG, so they're both going to have to chase down some turtle. Dunka will get through with about that 2-3 second lead, so no time lost or gained there.
Crazy stuff. And
well, let's see how aggressive they both want to be on Helma. You can be pretty aggressive here. Lots of hearts, blue mail. Dunka's going to do sword out. Weighty is just going to go at it like a pro.
Mm-hmm. And I believe if you go without the sword out, that's technically faster as long as you don't like, face tank him, of course.
Yeah, as long as you hit all your hammers. Weighty missed a couple
got
slashes
really
there on the second phase, yeah. So Dunka finished a little ahead. It's probably going to be about 5 seconds again.
Yeah, the like ending of the second phase was really well played from Dunka.
Yeah, real clean. The sword out does help with that end of the second phase. You can just go straight into a spin if you want. You can do a hammer and a spin. So back to that 5 second lead that it was when we entered the dungeon. Very cool.
Yeah, 54 was the spin for, it's pretty much 4 seconds, like 3.5 maybe seconds after leaving Palace of Darkness. And we're going up to GT, by the way. We're like playing a game usually. There's 22 locations in GT, and only one of them is where the big key can be. So guess a number between 1 and 22. Where do you think the big key is gonna be? I think the bot is still not working, so just play for fun. There's no like stakes. What do you think, Wayne?
I hope everyone guessing big key locations is also hoping that they both take the same round. Mm-hmm. So I'm just gonna say, I don't know what route these guys do. I'm gonna say 5. Let's go with 5, and hopefully they go the same way because I want to watch more of this same room action all the way up the tower.
I can see a potential divergence happening if they get a small key in the first in Hope room. So I guess let's hope they don't get a small key there. I
think, and I'm not sure.
They also picked different. We got one extra small little divergence here. Dunka going for the Super Bunny route, while WeightyWords is going for the Turtle Rock one.
Yeah, I think Weighty did have some more troubles with the Dead Rocks on the first screen, so we don't get a completely clear indication which of these routes is faster. I think technically, if done optimally, if you do not have the Turtle Rock portal open already, which these players didn't, I think it is faster to take Weighty's route, if done optimally. But I might actually have that backwards. Maybe it's optimal to take Dunka's route as long as you don't get dead rocked on the way up.
That's what I've been told.
It's pretty close either way.
Potential divergence in GT, it looks like.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Dunka has actually adopted this kind of modified Dark Magician route where he's going to go to the left side, mirror back and do the...
Oh, and it looks like Weighty's actually doing the same. He was going for the right side, but then changed his mind.
Now we just want it to be in this room. Hopefully it's in one of these 4 chests.
Yeah.
Then we'll just be in a great situation.
50 rupees. Nope. Nope.
Alright, hopefully they both mirror. So Dunka's going to go and do the 6 chests on the right, and then mirror again, and go back to the left. I don't know if that's the route Weighty's going to take. Let's see what he menus. He's not killing the Stalfo, so it looks like he's
going for the mirror. Yeah,
this is perfect.
Do this first. And there's no small key here on the Hope room, so they're both getting rewarded for like going to the DM room first. Well, getting rewarded if there's a big key over here on the right side, of course.
Well, they're both gonna feel a
And
little frustrated if
you know
the
what?
key's not over here.
And I can see, like, we saw Weighty, like, was kind of unsure if it was going here or not.
Yeah.
They both got the cane, and we haven't needed the cane for anything. Maybe they're thinking, like, hey, cane side of GT might just be it.
Might be good for something. Either way, I'm pretty excited because I don't think either player is going to do full Dark Magician, which means we're going to be in sync all the way up the tower, which is what I want from this race.
Yes. Oh, we got
a cape.
Exciting stuff. And we got no big key, though.
No big key. So let's see what Dunka does after he picks up this key.
Yeah, he's definitely grabbing the key. He's mirroring. He's going to go full left now, which is probably what WeightyWords is doing as well.
Now, the advantages to this route is against almost all other, let's say, in-meta GT routes. This loses the least time against all of them. So it's kind of like the least amount of variance. If you feel confident in your play, if you feel like you've had a decent seed, and you don't want to get wrecked by somebody else's route just saving 3 minutes on you in GT, this is the least variance route. It also means you have the least opportunity to actually gain time on people.
There's the big key.
There it is. So this is probably, this route in this seed is a loser against most routes, but luckily they both did it, so they're both going to be going up. I didn't catch Dunka's mirror time, so let's catch his Mimic's 1 entry time to see exactly how far behind we are.
So going in at 40, kind of?
Yep.
39, 40.
Doing a little bit of a slower Mimics.
And
I think what Weighty will attempt.
Pretty much almost exactly 10 seconds.
Yeah, 10 seconds.
But,
both having a little trouble here for both of them in the Mimics. Ugh, just when the Mimic is just a pixel or two off, it can be very scary to try and adjust that one pixel, and that can lead the room going very, very badly. Wow, Dunka with the miracle dash through the spikes there that were all jumbled up.
This is gonna be a sick ending of a game.
Weighty does have, I hate to bring up NMG at a time like this, but Weighty does have a little more NMG experience over Dunka. Not that these are going to be exact NMG style rooms here with their loadout. You already see Dunka using the fire rod and some half magic.
Yeah,
and it looked
like
the bow.
Starting the gauntlet, Weighty had picked up about 3 or 4 seconds, I think.
Weighty gets really good RNG in gauntlet too there also. Dunka getting hit a couple times here in gauntlet. And Weighty takes the lead.
Yeah, he's barely passing him there, but he missed his dash.
Both missed the dash here.
Yeah. Okay.
And Dunka's back in the lead, going into Gauntlet 5.
He tried to get that part, but unfortunately got like B-most as he was doing it. And now Dunka gets B-most.
Dunka's at half a second lead here.
Oh boy. This is crazy.
This is really important here. This is a huge time difference possibly if they don't zero cycle or one cycle this.
Really nice.
Oh, he's not gonna get it. Missed that first one.
That's a good lead now for.
That's gonna be about 8 seconds or so.
At least Weighty got the early second cycle.
Yeah, it was not a slow it was not a slow 2 cycle, but it's gonna be about 8 seconds of difference. I think maybe only 6 seconds.
But he picked up that already in the gauntlet earlier. So it's not impossible he can do it again.
There's not as much time to save in the upstairs GT rooms until we get up to Moldorm, depending on, I guess, what strategies they use here in the Torches room. We'll see. Their magic is probably low enough where they both have to go with some lamp strats. That's what Dunka's going for. Waiting to be doing the same. So yeah, this is now probably firmly in Moldorm, Agatu, Ganon territory.
Do you think they will check the chest on the way up here?
I could see them checking the last 2, not this room. I could see them checking the last 2 because maybe they'd feel a little comfortable with a health refill. But obviously, there's really nothing else they could want. I mean, silvers, yeah, if it's in the chest, great. But they've skipped so many chests in the game by what they didn't have to do that very likely silvers are going to be here.
Dunka's checking this one.
Dunka opens that one. I think it makes sense if you're looking for the health refill. Weighty's going to skip it. It's not going to save him that much time.
Kept picking up hearts on the way up. So maybe it's like, yeah, I'm still good enough with the hearts.
Dunka with a very nice fight. Weighty with a very nice fight. All right, Aga 2 can be a big difference maker.
Yeah.
He checks the chest. Weighty also checks the chest.
Of them checks them, yeah. If it was Silver Star, obviously.
That would have been the race decided. Everyone would have loved to see that be the reason that one person wins and one person loses, right?
Okay, into Aga 2 we go.
All right, very important here. How you play Aga 2. You can play aggressive and go for triples, or you can play it safe and go for doubles. This is not a great first pattern. We'll see. I think Dunka only gets one there. Weighty takes the same approach.
I think was one for both of them there.
Yeah.
Blue ball.
Dunka getting one there, which was not easy.
Ooh,
yeah,
but Weighty got nothing. This is a good setup for a
triple.
And Weighty gets the triple as well. There.
So they should, if Weighty can get two here.
Probably get a double here.
Really nice hit. All right.
So close. Oh my god.
Weighty lost maybe a second there, but it's fine. This is firmly in. How many spins are you gonna miss? Don't miss torch glitch. Don't miss a cycle. 1-in-1 cycle. Hugely
a
important.
Bit less health as well, which is
a little less health, but he can survive some fire bat hits. So that's really you're not gonna hit Ganon too often.
20, and WeightyWords jumps in at 24.
The 1-in-1 cycle here is hugely important. Dunka needs to get the 1-in-1. Weighty needs to get the 1-in-1.
4 seconds apart going in.
Dunka looks like he's set up to get it perfectly, although he ends up on a weird side. He can still get it over here as long as he doesn't get hit by the fire bat. Weighty's gonna go with dash strats. Pretty common setup with a spin and the dash, and he should get it. Dunka takes a fire bat. He gets that hit though. Huge to get that hit.
Still has the fairy, but you don't want to take the death animation.
No, that's the difference in this game. If he has to take the fairy. All right, it's gonna come out of spins. Dunka is about one spin ahead, so if he has a perfect phase 4, Weighty cannot win. If he misses some spins, Weighty can. Or torch glitch. Torch glitch is gonna be vital here. I wouldn't be surprised to go to lamp for this, honestly.
Yeah, you just want to get this. You don't want to throw the race up for just missing the torch glitch.
All right, Dunka's got his first spin. I'm really just gonna be watching Dunka to see if he misses any spins, and try to see if Weighty misses any spins.
I'll try and watch Weighty as much as possible.
If you ever needed a perfect Ganon, right now is the time, Dunka. Very nice to get that one. Maybe a little late to get this one. He missed. All right, he missed one.
Okay.
Weighty could. if Weighty, they might be exactly tied if Weighty hasn't missed.
It might be. Remember, 2 seconds. There's Ganon down. For Weighty.
Weighty was one hit ahead with that one miss for Dunka.
Oh boy. Yeah, 2 seconds is the. It's what we have for ties, right? But
yeah, I think so.
Like
we're gonna get the official SRL times. Oh man.
What's the official time?
Official SRL times. WeightyWords in first place with a 1:31.18, and BigDunka in second with an official race time of 1:31.21. That is a 3-second difference, which I believe.
What's the old tie rule?
Was the old? I think is it 2 seconds?
I think it is 2 now, unfortunately. We're joined by BigDunka.
Hey, Dunka.
I can confirm it is 2.
Oof, that's a rough one.
By
1 triple.
1. You missed the 1 spin, and that was it. Oh, man. What a race, man. What a race.
I'll say this, watching the end of it was fun to watch, even though I knew the bad gauntlet was coming. And I knew the triple was coming, the mistriple.
Still, it's not like you dumpstered Ganon there. That was a good Ganon fight. It turned out the margin for this was 1 spin.
or checking an additional chest, or falling into the hole in the firebar room.
Yeah. If you want to go back and look at all the places, that way
Oh,
lies
yeah.
madness.
There could be. I mean, there's 1,000 little bitty things in there.
Yeah.
But
Great race, great run. Like this, it was close. Obviously, you probably caught the end of it on the restream,
Yeah.
but I mean, you guys were never ever at any part, and it's probably not surprising because the seed was so linear. You were never more than 2 minutes apart.
Yeah,
You were
right.
the furthest apart when you checked catfish and Weighty did not. But then you made up some time because Weighty fluted away and checked the mushroom, and you did not. And from that point forward, you guys were within 30 seconds of each other the entire rest of the race. So it was unbelievably exciting. We're also joined by
Yeah.
Weighty. Hey, Weighty, how's it going?
Hi.
Congrats on a ridiculously exciting win there.
Thanks.
GG,
Yeah.
dude.
Yo, GG's Dunka. That was really fun to watch back while we were waiting. Holy moly.
It is, I can confirm it's really hard to watch dueling Ganon fights for mistake.
Yeah.
But really, really exciting. You guys both did a whole lot before you did Aga. How were you guys feeling when you were finally going to Aga? Did you feel like, okay, this is reasonable, I know it's required? Or did you feel like, oh man, I went all the way back up to Ether, we did all this stuff, do I feel behind? How are you guys feeling coming out of Aga?
I'm fine with the Ether play, just because it's a one check and you're committing so much at that point, especially with that seed just dragging you all the way around the world, back and forth. So I was fine with the Ether play, and I felt fine coming out of Aga. In fact, other than just a few minor checks, I felt good about just about everything. So yeah, I was fine coming out of there. Just unfortunately, going pod early would have been just enormous, but it is what it is.
Yeah, for me, like I wasn't expecting to get Master Sword in Desert, like at all. I was like looking for Hammer or Mitts or something. I didn't expect it to be an Agaseed after literally just like all the stuff that we did, getting all 3 crystals in the Light World. So I wasn't expecting it. So when I got that, I just felt like I had to full clear the Light World before going to Aga, just because I'm like, you pretty much had to at that point, so I didn't feel too bad about it.
Yeah, exactly my feeling.
How about not going to pod after Aga? Is that like a policy you guys have? I know a lot of runners that are kind of like, a lot of Aga seeds you play. If you play a lot of randomizer, you play a lot of Aga seeds. So most people are kind of set in, I will always do pod if I have the bow after Aga, and some people are like, I will not do pod after Aga if I have the hook shot. So is that just kind of you both kind of went, I guess Dunka actually went to Catfish first and then West Dark World. Weighty, you just went straight to West Dark World. But is that your play every time? Did you feel like I want to do that in this particular seed only? Do I want to do that because it's a 1v1? What were you guys thinking about the no pod after Aga play with the bow?
I think it had less to do with the bow and more to do with the fire rod and being able to immediately just go and do Skullwoods, and only being 2 items away from go, one of which being the hammer. So in theory, you dive pod, the hammer's not there, you wasted a bunch of time. It happens that the item leading to the hammer was in pod, but I think if I didn't have the fire rod and wasn't able to at least start clearing crystals, I maybe would have done that first, but it's also helpful having the mirror and being able to clear the entire north route all in one shot and never having to go back.
Yeah, that was the same idea for me. We were like so close to go mode already. Like we didn't really need that much. There's like so much more on the west side of the world that I just decided to go there. And I even skipped Catfish because there were just more item dense locations over there. Turns out it's pod. It's always pod.
It's always pod if you don't go in. I mean, that's what it is always, though. And clearly this is more evidence. It's always hammer in Mire, right? I mean, when you don't find
That's
hammer
true.
for a really long time and you get Mire
True.
access, it's just going to be hammer in Mire. That's the way these seeds go. At least none of the nightmare scenarios happen. Like we didn't have to go to Ice Palace to find the hammer, right? There
I
wasn't
think nobody goes to Ice to look for hammer early. It's always your last choice.
Yeah.
So
Well, I know one person that would.
we're not gonna bring
We're
him
not
up.
gonna.
But yeah, it's funny the big differences for a race that came down to 3 seconds. You guys actually had really big swings in this race. Weighty turning in the mushroom, Dunka going straight into Mire. Weighty checking the front of Swamp after Hype Cave, Dunka not checking the front of Swamp. Dunka checking Catfish, and Weighty skipping Catfish. So it was really big single check swings that eventually got you guys within, you were entering T within 5 seconds, 10 seconds of each other. just it's funny to see how this one came so close, despite there being huge time saves on both sides. Some of the boss fights even were really big. Weighty getting a really good 0 cycle Argus, but then having a kind of a cold stare party.
Yeah.
was fun down the stretch to watch. Like, oh my god, they're so close. Oh no, Weighty just caught up a huge amount, and then oh no, Weighty might die here. It's there. But how did you guys feel post go mode with your execution? And there was a lot of post go mode execution. So you guys feel good with that? Anything really stick out as I wish I could have that room back or something?
Yeah, I'd love to lose sword beams going into the turtle room in Pod.
Yeah, it's neither of you actually got good RNG in that room.
I saw that. Yeah,
Both had some turtles run away, which was a little unfortunate.
For me, like I realized that when I do Herapot, the Q that I used was for the Master Sword. So when I had the Hand Fighter Sword, I couldn't figure out the lineup for that.
Yeah, we
So
saw the multiple attempts at that.
Yeah, I realized I need a different Q.
It's there's plenty of sword Qs that I've abandoned over the months of. Oh man, this actually is really bad because you have to learn like 3 different Qs depending on what sword you have. But
yeah,
it is funny that there's so many different setups you can do for the Herapot, but they're all pretty precise. So if you're not good at whatever setup you have, it's a little frustrating. But yeah, this is a really good race, guys. This was just nothing was really unfair about how this came down. You know, you guys got boots at the exact same time. That's always great to see. You basically both were doing Aga at the exact same time, even if the order of things you did in the light world wasn't perfectly in line with the other. This was really everything a rando race could be, and it was only game 1, so there's potentially 2 more of these to come. Duncan, do you have any thoughts on what you're going to do for game 2, or do you want to keep it a secret for now?
I haven't. You know what? It's on Tuesday. I haven't had the chance to change a mode yet. So yeah, I actually, boy, I really couldn't tell you.
Okay, yeah, well, good. So that's the other part I was going to ask was is the race scheduled? So it's scheduled for Tuesday.
Yes,
so
Tuesday evening. I don't even remember what time.
8 p.m. Eastern.
8 p.m. Eastern. If you enjoyed what you guys saw here right now today, then probably kicking off closer to 8:30 on Tuesday. You guys can catch game 2 of this. Mode to be determined. But
I'll be back to you in a couple of days.
good luck to both of you in game 2, and if there's a game 3, and you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see both you guys in the bracket anyway. Whoever wins this best of 3. So, good luck in the rest of the tournament. Awesome show today. Any final thoughts from either of you on what transpired here?
Yeah, Tuesday will be interesting. That was I did my sniper no sniping.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the next race. This was this close, then yeah, it'll be a good match.
It should be great. So thanks everyone. It was much appreciated.
Yeah, I can only applaud you guys for this. This was amazing to watch, and I mean, it can literally not be closer than this. If it's closer than this, it's a tie. So I'm super hyped to see the rest of this matchup.
I finished with 15 more rupees. I'll just go with that.
All right, guys. Well, thanks again for a great show. I actually don't think that there's any more past randomizer action tonight, but stay tuned. Tomorrow there's plenty. I believe you can catch the final match of the evening going off right now on Speed Gaming Prime. Head on over there if you're still looking for more rando. Otherwise, tune in tomorrow. There are, it looks like over a dozen matches taking place tomorrow, so you can get your fix then. GG's to Weighty and Dunka again for a fantastic match. Walther, any final thoughts from you?
No. Thanks again to our tracker, by the way, Iceman. But except for that, like, follow the runners, have a good night, and just make sure to catch game 2 out of this.
Okay. See you guys next time.